I'm Kiwi,
And I'm Jarad.
and we are the two gentlemen coming to you back in black. Jarad, how are you, mate?
Very well, very well. Like the AC/DC little, homage there, mate. It's I would say more so Johnny Farnham. We've come out of retirement so many times, but I think we'll work with that though. I like it. I like it. No, but I've been good. Lots of busyness going on, like leading up into Christmas, like we all have. But um, I say it all the time. It's just like busy with life, mate. Just busy with life, and you end up, 2 months later, and you're here almost at Christmas. So how are you, mate?
I'm good. I'm actually going to see AC/DC on Tuesday night, so hence the
Topical.
reference.
Yeah, it's very topical. Well done.
But everybody, it's been
Tuesday.
a long time since Jarad and I have recorded, so it is kind of a bit of a comeback that we're making
Mm.
here. We haven't retired. We haven't forgotten this. It's just life gets in the way, hence the podcasts in the first place. So here
Yeah.
we are back in black. I've been well, Jared. Life is good. A few updates. We'll get to all that. But
Mm.
yeah, the main
Mm.
thing is we're still here and we love doing this and reconnecting with people. I spoke to one of our regular listeners and she was telling me how much she enjoys this. So thanks for that, Hannah.
Yep. We're back. There you go, Hannah. Mate, I guess yeah, lots of little things going on, and lately I'm doing a little bit of work around the house. Like not it's a bit of work that requires some help from actual professionals. So I can't do it all, but part of it is digging holes. So I thought, well, I can do that, right? Big guy, strong. You know, turns out not as easy as I thought it might be. So like I'm going through Bunnings and I'm trying to look for like all the best tools to make it easier. And here I am with my soft hands getting blisters. So I'm buying all these gloves, and I had to admit to my mate who's going to come over and do some work for me. It's a little tougher than I thought. And yeah, it was a bit of a shock to the system, to be honest. How long it took me to dig, 8 or 9 holes through a bit of rock and stuff. But yeah, that was my like the last couple of weeks. I've just been sort of literally digging away
Yeah.
and monotonously just doing that, and it was tough. It was tougher because my body's not conditioned for it, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's conditioning. It's not that you're not enough or you can't do it. It really is just conditioning.
Mate, it still felt very, very, and I don't want it, but very unmanly that I was like struggling with blisters and like I do one hole and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do another one.
Yeah.
Sort of sitting there and I'm like, I shouldn't take me this long, but I suppose when you think of it, people that drive all day, like they can sit in the car and drive all day, but they can't necessarily, so everyone's conditioned to do certain things and from their daily duties. But yeah, a little bit embarrassing.
Jared, do you ever see the world through that lens though? Like this is something a man should be able to do. This is something that makes you a man. If I can't do this, I'm not a man. You mentioned that slightly
Yeah,
just then about the holes, but is that
yeah.
something you think of regularly about many things?
Uh, Um, I think it's yeah, I think so. Like I think there's things like that pop into your head. I mean, it's whether you how to put it, like whether you act on it, maybe I don't know, act on might be the right word. So like, well, it's a hard one because you want to not think like that, but there's still times where you're just like, oh, I need to do this because I need to be a man, and it's a fleeting thought, I guess. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like you do have those, and there is sometimes you do feel a little bit of embarrassment. Like I said, if you talk to somebody who is a bit of a, their job or the way that they act is very sort of, the typical manly man. And then you tell him that, oh, sorry, I can't do this because I've got blisters. It actually is a bit embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I do feel that. And I don't think it's from the person. I think it's internal. So
Yeah.
I guess the answer is, yeah, you do. It's how you portray that, I guess, or if you act on that. I don't know. What about yourself?
I like what you said about it. It's whether or not you act on it. I think that's really
Mm,
important. I think we've always
mm,
got these initial thoughts that come up, whether it's from us or it's
mm,
society's programming of us. Like
mm.
this is what a man looks like. This is what a man should be able to do. Um,
Yeah.
I've got certain ideas about what I should be able to do, but I don't think it's
Mm.
because I'm a man, if that makes sense. It's
Yeah,
because I've
yeah.
always been able to do those things, therefore I should be
Mm.
able to do that. But something like digging holes, I wouldn't think I should be able to do that because I'm a man. I think I would outsource that because it's not my specialty.
Yeah,
That's not the
yeah.
kind of animal I am. If you look at my build and my tiny little hands, I mean, you say you've got soft hands. I've got tiny little hands and I'm just holding up to the screen now. I'm not, as an
Yeah,
animal, I wasn't made for that. That's not
yeah,
my
yeah.
specialty. And it's like climbing a tree. You weren't built to climb a tree. And if there
No,
was something up there that I had to get for our tribe, like, I don't know, some special fruits or something, you'd send me up. You wouldn't send you. And
correct.
no one would say that you're less of a man for not climbing that tree than me. You'd say, well,
Mm.
that's look at his build. He specializes in that sort of thing. It's the size of a monkey. Let him go up.
I cut the
Um,
tree down.
yeah. Well, that exactly that, and that would be your approach, right?
Yeah,
A guy
yeah.
your size, you could probably charge at it and knock it down. So I think
Yeah.
man is one category, but then we can specialize from there. And I think the world is becoming a place where, we do specialize a little bit more. There are some people who are so good at that one thing, just let them do that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
very effeminate person, a guy who's really effeminate might be the best singer in the world. Let him sing, let him make people happy, don't tell him what a man should
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, 100%. No, no, I agree. And it brings up a funny thought. Like I've been to Bunnings. Like I said, I've been to Bunnings a bit, but there's times lately, being a girl dad, you do go to Bunnings and you do start searching for some things that you might not necessarily have searched for if you weren't a girl dad, like, your art supplies and your glitter paint and your scrapbooking, things like that, and going into Bunnings. And I think, I need to go in the tool shop just to just to sort of, I don't even want to buy anything from the tool shop. I'm just going in there to manlify a little bit,
Just get that waft of
Yeah,
testosterone into
yeah,
you.
yeah. Whilst I'm carrying the scrapbooking and art supplies that I bought earlier, but it is it's a funny thing. But like you do. I know I'm going to Bunnings to look at to buy some things, but you tend to sort of revert back to what I guess,
But
what you think
that
you
could
know.
be dangerous thinking too, Jared. That I mean, if you said you're a girl dad, that's why you go and
Mm.
get the glitter paints and the
Mm.
scrapbooks. But there's no reason you can't do that if you're a boy dad.
No, no.
And I think it can be unhelpful in society with thinking, oh wait, that's a girl activity, that's a boy activity. I heard one
But
guy say, unless it's involving genitals, it's
mm,
it's completely genderless, and I agree with that.
but I would probably argue like it's not something that I would be against if I would if I had boys and they wanted to do that stuff, like, please, but by all means. I think it's just more common. I think what I was sort of suggesting is it's more common to be, if you are, you know your girls tended my girls will go to the art supply stuff
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. So it's, I guess, not suggesting that I'm it should be any other way because I'm a girl dad, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally understand what you're saying, but I guess just in terms of us as a society, we do have these certain ideas of what a person should be doing, what a person should look
Mm.
like.
Oh,
And
and
as
it's
someone who loves freedom and people doing whatever they want, I always encourage people to do just whatever they want.
society has a funny thing, and this is a bit lighthearted, but I'll tell you what, like, there are things that divide society, and I've noticed, like tomato sauce in the cupboard or the fridge. I don't know what your stance is on that, but
Look, we're
I
a
know
fridge family.
your fridge family, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
same. But I grew up cupboard, so I've changed.
Mm.
So it divides, and I, like, I like a bit of Turkish delight. I don't know if that's offensive to a lot of people, but it seems to be like some people get quite angry that I like it. And when the favourites come out, the box of favourites come out, I'll go straight for that, and people that'll look at me quite with disgust and disdain. But I'll buck the trend. I'm happy to keep going. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I've
it's
got no
funny.
issue with Turkish delight.
Oh, good, good. I know we can keep doing the podcast then. No, it's just a funny way to say that there is, yes, what society sort of, puts on us, and what the expectations there are, and it's really, really our choice, really.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing something that's quite I'm wearing a pair of Crocs right now,
They're very
and
divisive.
yeah, they're divisive in our household. So,
Yeah, right.
and but I'm comfortable in them.
We have a family pair of Crocs that were found in the council pickup that are kind of like just outside. So if anyone's going outside, you can just chuck them on. But
Ah, nice,
yeah,
nice.
look, they're very practical.
Yeah,
No one can argue with that.
no, no, but I haven't. There are times when there are times when I'm put the Crocs on. I'm like, yeah, it's probably not. I probably don't wear that. Don't need to wear it there. I'll put thongs on or something. But yeah,
The way this conversation sort of evolved is, dividing society. And as I get older, sometimes I think this whole game, this whole civilization game, it's like the end goal is to prove you're better than other people. I look at the ancient Egyptians. I start there. I mean, I know there's older civilizations, but
yeah,
the richer people started wearing jewelry. And
mm,
you see someone with gold earrings or a bit of gold or better bit of cloth than what you've got. You've got your little rags that just enough to cover up your vital bits.
yeah,
You could see that person is better than me. That person belongs to this class, the high priest class, or that person is
mm,
descended from royalty or whatever it is. And nothing's changed since. But we can pretend that we're all equal and we can have all the same values and all that sort of stuff. We could all be genetically identical, yet we will find a way to make those dividing lines to essentially stratify society so I can say I'm better than that person. And it's kind of sad, but that's how I feel like things have always been. And we want to be different and better than other people, and we need a way to show it.
yeah, yep. And it's actually something that I've thought about recently. When I like, I'm not looking to buy a new house, or I'm not looking to move, but I always keep my sort of eyes on the game, I guess, through a few of the sites, and see what's out there. And it's funny, like there's particular areas that we talk about. Oh yeah, would you move there? And some of those areas, I'm like by all accounts, the houses are lovely, the area is nice, it's got everything we need. But like, I just get this sense of like everyone's comparing, and it's a bit of a show off sort of situation, and it's well, I've got 4 bedrooms, I've got 5, like this sort of concept of the same thing you're talking about, that we all need, the people in the area all have roofs over their heads, they all sleep in a bed, essentially. I'm not, but they all have rooms, they all have a bathroom and all this sort of stuff. But it's what's on the outside, the show off part, like how big this is or what the pool is, and it just, sometimes some suburbs I've found that just reek of that, and I don't like it at all. I really don't. I actually say that I would never go there.
Hmm.
I know that's a bigger perspective, but that's just something that's just been recently in my mind, and it's like, oh, it's funny you bring it up, because
Yeah, it's a real life
it's
example of how it affects you or how you've seen it, experienced it in your life.
yeah,
And the thing is, Jared, it's actually something you can opt out of. You can simply not care. It's as easy as that. And when you're young, everything matters. Oh my God, I've got to
mm,
have those shoes. I've got to have. When we were growing up, that's when the Jordans became a huge thing. So
yep,
everyone, we're 45. We grew up in the 90s. That's they
mm,
were our formative years, and American culture really took a hold at that point. Basketball was huge. So
yep,
if you had certain shoes, like Reebok pumps or something,
you
you
were
were the
the
man.
king.
Like that was cool.
Yeah,
But what was the point of all that? Well, it's just to prove that you can afford them,
yeah,
or that
yeah.
you're good enough, and it's a way to separate yourself from the rest of the plebs. And now I've
It's
gone completely the other way. I brag about what we get out of a council pickup, and
yeah, true.
because to me that's a different game. That's not a game of status. That's a game of luck, and I love that. I love
Mm,
the whims of fate. Not knowing what's out there. It's like, wow, I got this. It's just fun to me. It makes life really
yeah,
interesting. But I couldn't do that if I didn't have high self-esteem. If I
yeah,
had low self-esteem and I were rummaging through other people's garbage, how do you think I would feel about that? I don't think I'd be talking about it publicly. But because I feel like I know what's important in life, I can talk about that.
mm. Just on that point, I know I've driven past some spots, and I'm like, I've seen something on the side of the road. I'm like, oh, that looks good. But because it's a busy road or a, high thoroughfare, you're like, I don't think it will, and it kind of makes me feel sad that I do that.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's just you still have these programs, and it's very hard. And you say that you can remove yourself from. I don't want to put the words in your mouth, but you said something along the lines of you can opt out.
Yeah.
I agree with that, but I also think that it takes a long time to deprogram that part. But there's also the part there where you can opt out. Yeah, I don't need a, I don't need a third car, or I don't need I'm just throwing things out
Yeah,
there, right?
sure.
But you kind of trick yourself that you like it or you want it. So there's that part as well. So you might get that third car or that the pool or whatever, and you sort of tell you, oh no, it's because I want it. But there's still that lower thing. Yeah, you don't know which one it is. Like I'm saying, it can be quite confusing. So you think, oh yeah, no, I want that fifth bedroom, or I want that third bathroom, or I want that this. Like I don't think. Yeah, I think you trick yourself. I think you do.
Yeah. You use the word want, and we want a lot of things. Need is the other word. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
there's
I was
nothing
trying to
wrong
use
with
the right
wanting
one.
things. There really isn't
Yeah.
anything wrong with wanting that. And if you do want that, convertible or something as your weekend car, there's nothing inherently wrong with it. I think the only issue is that if you sacrifice everything for that because you feel like that's what would define you as a human being, that's where the
Mm.
problems come in. But if you incidentally just happen to have a job that you love that makes a lot of money, let's just say you're a professional tennis player and
Yeah.
you're doing it for the love of the game and you happen to make millions of dollars and you're like, oh, you know what, that car's beautiful, I'm going to buy it. As long as your happiness isn't contingent on that, I say go ahead, go and enjoy
Yeah.
life, do whatever you want, don't overthink it. But for us mere mortals who are wondering what we should be doing with our lives, if our sole focus is on accumulating material things or looking a certain way just to prove we're
Mm.
better than other people, just to show the world we've made it, that can be problematic.
That I agree. I agree with that. I think that is problematic. Yep. Yeah. Well said.
And I think we want to tell people our story. That's a thing. And as human beings, our story is about our growth. I met a young girl when she was like 3 years old or something. I just remember she'd said to me, I can hop. And then she's just
Mhm.
hopping on one foot. It's like, wow, she's showing me her growth. Like this is something she's
Yeah.
just discovered.
Yeah.
And I work with autistic people and they want to tell you everything about this one topic. So you
Yep.
can talk for ages and ages and ages about a very specific thing. It can be about aeroplanes, for example, and they'll tell you the history of
Hmm.
this and that, about different airplane crashes. It's fascinating. And to them,
Yeah.
they've got to get it all out. And I think we're kind of
Yeah.
similar in that, and it's about our growth, our story. And when we've made it on the inside, like if we feel like we've come somewhere intellectually, we want people to know how smart we are. So we might talk about a particular topic. When we've made
Mm.
it materially, we need to display it somehow. We can't bring our house with us everywhere we go. We don't, pull out photos of our
Mm.
on our phone and go, hey, this, by the way, this is the
Look
jacuzzi.
at this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this marble bench top. Yeah.
So a great shorthand way to do that is wear a particular label, for example, or
Yeah.
drive a certain car, and they're like, oh, that guy's made it. And people treat you
Mm.
differently according to how you're dressed and what car
Mm.
you're driving. So it's very normal for us to want to do all that, to tell that
Yep.
story. But the story of humility is another one, and that's not as easy to tell, is it?
No.
That's a
No.
very silent story, I think.
That is a personal. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to tell. So that all being said, I think we're maybe coming close to the end of the episode. So I don't want to I don't want to get started on anymore because we've got quite a few little topics here that have been happening over the months. But I want to I want to I want to tell you something that happened to me last night actually, and it's off the topic a little bit. But I was coaching my eldest Oz tag team, and it's I had this preconception. And I suppose it's on the topic a little bit. I had this preconception as what I would be like if I ever coached a football team. As I was playing, as I was growing up, I thought, this is, I'll be, I'll go out there and, this is the style. So last night they're all sort of year 6, so they're all getting ready for their graduation. and I had three girls pull out because they they got their nails done. So I had to play a little short because we had we had a nail issue, and then there was there's been some interesting injuries that come up. It was raining last night, so someone didn't want to play because they were feeling a little bit like they were going to get a cold. And, my preconception of being a football coach, I never actually thought I'd ever end up having to deal with those those matters. But it was interesting, and I actually enjoyed it. I actually enjoy, one of them actually did play with nails all done, and I'm like,
Nice.
"Are you sure you want to play? Like, I feel bad." And he's like, "No, I'm doing it for the team." I'm like, "All right, well, I'm sorry if you hurt them, but they managed to get through the game all right." So, but yeah, it was quite an eye opener and a little bit different to what I was expecting as a coach.
It's crazy how you picture things and how they turn out. Very different.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love how it's turned out. So it's for me, I enjoy it. I've been coaching these girls for a very long time, and I don't know if this is the last dance essentially, because they're all off to different high schools and
Yeah.
so on. But it's been awesome. And like I said, I've said and experienced some things that I didn't think I would ever say or experience on the side of the football field. But
Yeah.
but as a whole, watching these girls, go from kids that have never played the sport before to actually hold their own and
Yeah.
win some games and have actually have fun is a smile on their face has been awesome.
That's lovely. And
Mm.
that's a growth story right there, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it is. I get goosebumps actually.
I find that at the age we are at now, there's much more rewarding watching other people do it than us doing it ourselves. But when I
Oh,
surf with my kids, seeing them catch a wave is way better than me catching a wave. Honestly,
yeah.
it's the best rush, and you're just cheering. Like, I literally
Mm.
throw my fists in the air, like, yeah, that was awesome. It's just that
Yeah,
much happiness inside me. And
yeah.
my youngest son, who's now 11, has toyed with the idea of starting Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And
Ah,
that's just been so exciting for me. We've done it at home together,
yeah.
and he's really enjoyed it. But since then, he's just not really talked about it, and he hasn't wanted to train at all. But that's
Mm.
okay. The seeds are planted.
We'll see
But
if
to
they
see
grow.
him grow into, potentially an athlete of some sort,
Mm.
recreational athlete or hobbyist athlete, that's totally fine. But at least,
Yes.
getting involved in a sport, even though it's an individual sport, it is still a team sport in a way, because you train with a whole room of kids,
Mm.
and, you make a lot of friends. So I'm really looking forward to that and seeing that period of his growth. But yeah, it is great being a coach or just watching kids grow. It's such a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
feeling.
No, it is awesome. Warm and fuzzy, and
I was
hopefully I
actually
can
training with a
continue.
guy the other night. He's 14, and I asked him, how far do you want to go with this? Because he trains day and night, right? He's at school. He goes to the 6:30 classes, 6:30 in the
Mm.
morning,
Wow.
yeah, then goes
No,
home, has a
that's
shower,
yeah.
goes to school, his stuff is washed so he can come back at night. And I asked him,
Oh,
how
yeah.
far do you want to go with this sport? And he said, oh, I'd like to become world champion by the time I'm 25. And he's like, well, like he's aiming for that. At least he's going to get somewhere, the whole aim for the stars. You might end up on the moon.
Yeah.
So it's really great rolling with him and being part of his story. One day,
Yeah.
hopefully he gets somewhere pretty far. And I was at the
Yeah.
beginning of that with him when he was a white
That's
belt.
right.
And
That's awesome.
he's beaten me up before, and I've beaten him up. It's a lot of fun. But he's a really good guy. So yeah, I'm wishing him all the best.
There's lots of little sort of moments that we're all watching and seeing and being a part of, which is really awesome as we get older. And I think that's great.
Yeah. Jarad, it is great to be back with you. Hopefully we can keep
Mm.
this up. Life is still out there doing stuff around us, and we just have to be
Yep.
part of it. But listeners, rest assured, we're doing our best to get together. Nothing's changed other than everything. But here we are. We're committed to this, and we love doing it. And we love connecting with you. Please don't hesitate to get in contact with us and drop us a line and let us know what you think. Jarad, have a great day, mate.
You too, mate. It's been awesome. Thanks.